It's about 5:45 on Friday, October 28th, 2022. This is the evening mood. We're doing it right now because it's been raining all day. We've already got 1.5 inches of rain, a little less than 1.5 inches. It's going to rain all night and into the morning, off and on. We had just a few minutes ago a bunch of rain, lightning and thunder. I'm giving them a double portion because I don't want to be here in the morning to move the cows in the rain. So they can have two areas. We just fed them. There was water in the troughs. We just put the feed in the troughs to make that cookie dough for them. So it looks like these calves are more excited than the cows are. Here comes the sheep. There's a couple cow patties I saw out here. I don't know if that's just cow patties coming to life after the rain, or it hasn't been properly biodegraded by the ground, or if it's something else. I'm not really sure. So let's go take a look at their feed. Whew, what a day. The kids at school were complaining it was raining all day, and I'm kind of like, what are you talking about? After a drought, this is a great thing. Maybe we'll get some mud out here again. And sure enough, when I was laying tracks with my side-by-side, some of the tracks went a little deeper than I wanted them to, showing that I'm probably damaging the turf. Not very much, but enough that you'll notice it. So it's probably not the best idea to be running around in the mud if you can avoid it. Hey, 20's going for the grass. Let's take a look at what's left of the cookie dough, if I can do this safely. I just keep feeding them in the same spot because I'm lazy. Yeah, that one wasn't too bad. This one was the one that was like half full of water. Yeah, they got soup. You like that cookie dough? The morning oatmeal, the cream of wheat. One of my favorite breakfasts when I was young was cream of wheat. Look at them go. Just cleaning out the rest of that there. So let's go check on their water really quick. I try to do this every time I'm up here. It's probably not so important to do it right now, as the rain probably fills it up. Yep, there's water. Looks pretty clean too. Let's go check where it's coming from. That's pretty good. I'm not seeing water pile up in the bottom of that tub. They did knock over this little post, which was used by me to know where the water is when there's bushes covering the water. Put that post back. Minerals. Last I checked, they had plenty of minerals. There's that protein, the giant cattle cube. They're not so interested in this as I thought they would be. I think as long as they got feed and minerals, they're not really interested in the protein. I do see in their manure, I'm standing out here in the middle of a pasture in a thunderstorm. I'm probably the tallest thing around. Anyway, who knows, maybe I'll get a YouTube video where I'm getting struck by lightning. Maybe that'll be worth something. Oh man. I'll let you know if I start tasting something weird in my mouth. No, there's in the manure patties, you can see there's like corn kernels left over, which I'd prefer the feed was going to their gut. But if they can't digest the corn kernels, I guess that's okay. The wind is picking up. It's a north wind. It was mid-50s all day. Mid-50s. Not cold, but not warm. At least it's cold enough that you want to wear a raincoat. What is red? Oh my goodness, red looks so different than usual. Yeah, because you have a pink umbrella, Daniel. Yeah. But the grass there is not too shabby. It's a little bit thick. I think they're going to enjoy this area. I think the cows are having a good old time. They enjoy the rain. They enjoy the weather. You can see exactly where the cows have been grazing. You can almost draw a line. Let me stand on the line so it's totally obvious. So, yeah. Yeah, they cleared out the yellow stuff more or less. And they underneath. Now there is some cool season grass growing. I've seen it in different places. They're tiny. They're like an inch or two long. By November, we might see, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 inches. Some places, like some of this, I don't know if you can tell, but look at that right there. There's some grass growing. So I'm thinking we might get a little more grass. And somebody was asking about winter. Yes, we do have winter here in Texas. I know it's hard to believe. Last year we had what's called Snowmageddon. No, was that last year or the year before last? I think it was the year before last. But last year it got cold too. There was a couple days when it was super cold. And I came out and fed the cows. I sheltered them in the trees to kind of keep them out of the wind. They were covered with icicles. But that only lasted for a few days. And otherwise, the temperature stayed well above freezing. I want to say most of the time is in the mid-50s. So this is basically winter right now. It doesn't get very cold. If it does get cold, it gets down into the 20s, you know, which I know some of you guys in the Great Plains would call that a balmy summer, you know, if the low at night was in the 20s. Of course, here, our houses are built quite a bit different than they are in the rest of the Great Plains. They don't hold in the warm air as good as well. And so one of the problems we had in Snowmageddon, if you remember, quite a few people died due to exposure. So they would be in their house or their you know, double wide trailer or whatever, and they would bundle the kid up with blankets, and it just wouldn't be quite enough to save the life of the kid. And the other problem you run into is people try to burn things inside the house to stay warm, and then you get carbon monoxide poisoning. I don't know if that affected anybody in the last Snowmageddon, but I'm sure it's a serious problem everywhere in the world. I know in Korea we hear about, back in the 90s, when I was in Korea, we heard about people dying all the time from carbon monoxide poisoning. And my wife told me growing up that they would burn charcoal in their house. They'd crack the window, but they'd burn charcoal inside the house. And she'd wake up with terrible headaches. And I kind of pointed to the signs of carbon monoxide poisoning and said, that's a major sign that you've been poisoned. You're lucky to be alive. You know, that's just how they grew up. The winters are very brutal. They're very long too. Like here, we can expect the winter to last from about mid-December, end of January, mid-February, you know. And the bad weather is probably 1 or 2 weeks of bad weather. You know, weather where you wouldn't want to go outside at all, unless you're wearing a parka or something. So it's interesting when you touch these cows, even though they're wet. You know, like their skin isn't warm, but you can feel there's warmth inside. Like if I hold it there for a while, it warms up. You know, maybe 20 will let me do that. So the first thing I feel is cold, right? And then as I leave my hand there, it starts to warm up. That's because inside of their tough skin and fur, there's nice warm layer. You know, just like whales in the ocean, they have that thick skin and the blubber. The cows have the same kind of system going. So even in the middle of winter with icicles on their back, they were doing okay. Cows are resilient. They can stand the heat, they can stand the cold. If they don't like it, they can do it. Let's see if 21 does not like me touching her. Come on, fatty. All right, I'm going to sign off here, guys. That's enough messing with the cows. So yeah, oh, look at the sky. Oh, beautiful sky. Reminds me of where I came from. Except there's no mountains. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.